Fans, good evening and welcome to WECU Court in Carver Gym for the opening game of the Chuck Randall Classic. Tonight's game features the visitors, the Azusa Pacific Cougars, and the home team tonight, the Seattle Pacific Falcons. Before we go into the starting lineups, please rise for the playing of our national anthem. And now, here are the starting lineups. First, for the Azusa Pacific Cougars, as announced by head coach Peter Bond. Assistant coaches are BJ Porter, Kevin Wilch, Seth Jardine, and Michael Acuna. At guard, number 3, McKellery Robertson. A forward, number 25, Nate Kleppe. A forward, number 33, Sasha French. At forward, number 34, Ken West. And at guard, number 35, Trayvon Ari Turner. And now the starting 5 for the Seattle Pacific Falcons, as announced by 6th-year head coach Grant Leap. Assistant coaches are Kefri Fazio, Gabe Colissimo, Kevin Johnson, and George Parker. At guard, number 1, Zach Paulson. Number 4, another guard, Harry Cavill. A guard, number 13, Devontae Moffitt. At forward, number 24, Shaw Anderson. And at forward, number 33, Kelton Samore. Your Seattle Pacific Falcons.
Welcome inside Carver Gym as we get back to college basketball. Sean Wally being joined eventually by Ben Bagley, the ghost of Ben Bagley, currently with me as we get set for the 2021 version of the Chuck Randall Classic here in Bellingham, Washington. 4 teams, 4 games. The first game pits Azusa Pacific, the Cougars, 0-2 against Seattle Pacific. The Falcons 1-3 on the early season. Seattle Pacific being the quote-unquote home team here for game number 1. And the nightcap will be at 7:30. Concordia, the Eagles, and Western Washington, of course, the Vikings, tonight at 7:30. And we are underway here at the Chuck Randall Classic. Great to be back in the gym. Great to have sports back and the fans in the building. A big thing we missed much of last year. Azusa Pacific yet to win a game. They are 0-2 on the season. Seattle Pacific, 1 win, but 3 losses. 1-3 on the year are the Falcons of SPU. Falcons led by Grant Leap, his 13th overall season, 6th season as head coach. Azusa Pacific with the first bucket of the game. Ken West lays it up and in. It's 2-0. Seattle Pacific, their first possession, a high arcing 3, caroms off the rim, rebound to the Cougars. Cougars in the black jerseys, white trim. Falcons, white jerseys, and that burgundy trim. 1 minute and change gone by in half number one. 2 20-minute halves in men's college basketball, and there will be a turnover to Seattle Pacific. Head coach Grant Leap clapping, liking that, as his Falcons try to tie this game as they trail 2-0. Starting five for Azusa Pacific. McEllery Robertson, Justin Hemsley, Sasha French, Ken West, Trayvon Oury Turner. The starting five for SPU, Zach Paulson, Harry Cavill, Devontae Moffitt, Shaw Anderson, and Kelton Samore. Still 2-0, Azusa Pacific looking to add to it. They cannot. The short range miss by French. Back come the Falcons, looking for their first bucket on their third possession. First foul of the ball game is called. That'll be on the Cougars as they lead 2-0. Nearly 2 minutes gone by here in Bellingham, Washington. Sean Wally joined by Ben Bagley. Ben, basketball is back.
Yes, Sean. Pardon me, just getting situated here. Sean, thanks for having me on the broadcast. Oh, there I am. Good to see everybody. Thanks for joining us here tonight in WECU. I apologize for my little bit of delayed entrance. I had some technical difficulties getting over here, but I'm happy to be here. 2-2 early on.
Devontae Moffitt, the bucket for the Falcons, tying the game at 2, and he comes away with the steal and the first dunk of 2021 here at the Chuck Randall Classic. It is 4-2 SPU.
Seattle Pacific in their 4 games last season, the shortened spring season, went just 1-3. They have the early lead. Here comes Azusa Pacific.
Blocking foul on the Cougars of Azusa Pacific. Ken West hit with the foul. His first foul, second team foul. Heading to the line for SPU. The guy that's done a lot, almost everything here early on, Devontae Moffitt. Missed the free throw there. Just a 2-point lead for the Falcons.
Moffitt last season shot just over 70% from the line, but went 2 of 2 right there.
I stand corrected. He hit the first free throw. It's 6-2 SPU. 17:22 to play first half. They've adjusted the clock to 17:18 as the Cougars look to inbound the basketball. That's McEllery Robertson gets it in to Oury Turner. Hands off to Robertson. Back to Oury Turner. The jumper on the baseline, down and in. It's 6-4 Falcons.
Yeah, nice job using the mid-range there. Not a shot that we see a lot in modern basketball. It's usually all right near the rim or out of the three-point line. Azusa Pacific using it well, making the shot.
Falcons up 2. The nice drive right side of the lane. Shot missed by Cavill, but a foul is called on Azusa Pacific.
Harry Cavill headed to the line, a very nice two-way player for the Seattle Pacific Falcons. I have some memories, of course, going down to watch when Western played Seattle Pacific. Cavill always seemed to pick up the toughest defensive matchup. And he's able to drive to the line as well, knocking down a free throw.
Cavill is 6'6", out of Kaiser, Oregon. SPU the 7-4 lead. If you follow GNAC basketball, and if you're watching this, you probably do. Cavill, a name most of you know in Falcon lore and GNAC awesomeness, one of the top players for SPU. Azusa Pacific looking to answer. Nice pass in the lane. It's stolen. Falcons going the other way. Off window and in. Moffitt with the bucket. It is 10-4 Falcons. 16-15 left first half.
Moffitt, the acrobat, really delayed release there on the layup. But got it around the defender, up and in.
Cougars looking for their first victory on the young season. Free throw line outside. Jumper is short, but there for the rebound and putback is Hayden Gray, the freshman. It's 10-6 Falcons.
Yeah, nice job by Gray. Through the Falcons, you gotta box out on the defensive boards. Gray just went right up, got the board, put it right back in. Easy free points.
The right-hand baby hook won't go for the Falcons. Ball volleyed around. Back come the Cougars. Ari Turner with it. The left-hand dribble. Off the screen. Robertson, top of the key. Down low, the Cougars go on the block. Nowhere to go. 2 to shoot. The 3 on the way is down and in. Trayvon Ari Turner, the triple, bringing the Cougars within 1.
Just his second triple on the year. He's now shooting 2 for 8, but a big one there. That's 5 straight points for the Cougars.
Dare I say that 3 attempt almost brought rain, something Bellingham has seen too much of earlier in the week.
True.
14:40 to play first half. The Cougars looking to take the lead. They will not, losing the basketball, turning it over to SPU. Moffitt in the lane, his shot rejected. He gets it back. Moffitt outside. 15 to shoot for the Falcons. In the lane they go. Ball loose. Cougars come away with it. Robertson, good ball handles from 14. His pass intercepted. Back comes Moffitt, streaking into the lane. The Euro step off glass is good. 12-9 Falcons.
A little surprised there was no foul called there on Ken West, the big center. Right now, Seattle Pacific really finding all of their looks inside, not even needing to shoot the 3 ball, just attacking the rim.
Cougars can tie it with a triple. They try to, they do not. The miss by Kleppe. Back come the Falcons. Moffitt is fouled. 13:30 left in half number 1. We have a timeout on the floor. Falcons 12, Cougars 9. Back after this. 13:30 left in half number 1. First game of the Chuck Randall Classic here in Bellingham, Washington, inside Carver Gym. Sean Wally with Ben Bagley. Game number 1. Azusa Pacific against Seattle Pacific. 2 Pacifics. Which is better?
Well, we were right on the Pacific as well. It could also be Western Pacific University if you really wanted it to.
3-point lead for the Falcons. Out of the timeout, they have the basketball. Nice baseline drive, kick in the lane. Shot missed by El Mardi. Back come the Cougars. They trail by 3. That pass tipped. Falcons have it. Zach Paulson. Left-hand dribble. Paulson finds Cavill. His floater too strong. Offensive rebounds. El Mardi is fouled down low. Three-point lead for the Falcons. They will inbound baseline.
Already early for the Falcons. They have 12 points, 8 of those in the paint. Cougars right now with just 4 points in the paint.
Falcons to inbound. They go out top to Zach Paulson. Paulson swings it around. Falcons in the corner in front of the Azusa Pacific bench. Top of the key now. 6 to shoot. Foul called on the Cougars.
That's already 5 team fouls now for Azusa Pacific, 0 for Seattle Pacific. We're not even 8 minutes yet into this contest. Excuse me, that's now 6 team fouls for the Cougars.
Falcons to inbounds. Wide open down low. The miss. But the putback is good by Shaw Anderson. 14-9, Seattle Pacific by 5.
Make that now 10 of 14 points have been in the paint for Seattle Pacific. They're just getting to the rim with ease.
Cougars, a 3. Karam's off the back of the rim. Seattle Pacific on the run. They don't have numbers. Zach Paulson doesn't care, but it rims off. Back comes Azusa Pacific. 3 in the corner in front of the SPU bench. Rattles around, falls short. Rebound to SPU. Sharif Khan just inside the half-court stripe. Khan gets it back. Left-hand dribble. Cavill back to Khan. 5 to shoot for SPU. The turnaround floater too strong. Did it hit rim? Shot clock expires. They say no, it did not. That'll be Cougar basketball. Seattle Pacific by 5, 14-9 over Azusa Pacific. 11:30 to play, first half. Back after this timeout from Bellingham. Back after the timeout, Azusa Pacific, the basketball. They trail by 5, 14-9, Seattle Pacific in the lead, 11:22 and counting. First half from Bellingham, Washington, Sean Wally alongside Ben the Bagel Bagley.
Somebody's been stalking my Twitter profile, I see.
Who are you?
Ben the Bagel.
I've never seen you in my life. 5 to shoot for the Cougars. In the corner. 2 to shoot. The fadeaway looks good, and somehow it rattles in the bucket by Alan McBride.
Yeah, nice job by McBride there bailing out the Cougars. That was a great defensive possession by the Falcons. They had a double in the corner. It looked all but dead. And right there, a nice fadeaway bucket.
Seattle Pacific trying to answer. Ball knocked away loose. Cougars come away with it. Foul on Seattle Pacific. That'll be on Sharif Khan.
Just the first foul on the Falcons in this game. That foul count right now, 6 for Azusa Pacific, just 1 for Seattle Pacific. And also right now, neither team shooting the basketball all too well. Azusa Pacific shooting at just 34%. Falcons right now, 31%.
McBride feeling it from deep, gets the shooter's touch, rims in, 14-all, we're tied.
Short rim and in. McBride now on a 5-0 run by himself.
Offensive foul called on Seattle Pacific. The Cougars with momentum and the basketball coming back.
Momentum for sure. We mentioned a 5-0 run just by McBride himself. That's now 2 fouls on the Falcons in just the last 2 possessions. So for the Cougars now getting some buckets, putting that shooting percentage up, drawing some fouls instead of committing them, and all of a sudden this ball game's tied.
Knotted at 14. Halfway through half number 1 in Bellingham, Washington. Cougars turn it over. Back comes Zach Paulson for SPU. Paulson to Moffitt. Moffitt driving the right side of the lane, has it stripped away. Cougars the other way. 3 on the way, short. Battle for the rebound, McBride has it. Spins in the lane. McBride doing good things but can't get it to fall.
Back-to-back nice defensive plays by each team, poking it, getting in those passing lanes. Both teams playing good defense.
Good ball movement by the Falcons and a triple out of the corner. Zach Paulson to the delight of the Falcon faithful here in Bellingham.
Zach Paulson shooting about 36% from 3 on the year. Gives the Falcons a 3-point lead.
Cougars need to answer. They're down 3. And a foul called on SPU. That'll be on Bijan Sadhu.
That's a tough foul to take if you're Sadhu because it was just really strong, fast defense. He ended up running through the screen. That's when he got the off-ball foul called on. We're seeing a lot of energy, both teams on defense. Look for those active hands, active feet. It's tough to get a bucket here.
Another whistle. This time an offensive foul on the Cougars. Justin Hemsley hit with the foul, his second. 17-14 Falcon lead. 8:50 and counting first half. Inside Carver Gym in Bellingham, Washington, home of the Western Washington Vikings. They will play at 7:30 tonight. Seven to shoot for the Falcons. Moffitt outside to Cavill. The 3 on the way, too strong. Rebound to the Cougars. Hayden Gray across half court. Finds West. West in front of the Falcon bench. Top of the key for 3. Rims out, the miss by Bekvar. But there for the putback is who else? Alan McBride, 17-16, SPU by 1.
McBride now has scored the last 7 points for the Cougars.
Paulson, left-hand side of the lane, goes outside. 3 on the way for the Falcons is good. The triple by Bijan Sadhu.
Yeah, way to make the extra pass as well. There's a player open in the corner, but Sadu just had a better shot, found him, made it a 4-point lead. Nice play.
7:30 left, first half. Cougars in the lane. Nice skip pass to a streaking runner. The miss by Bekvar. Back come the Falcons. Moffitt across half court. Finds Paulson his three, rims off. 4-point lead for SPU. Back come the Cougars of Azusa Pacific. Cougars trail by 4. Outside for 3, not even close. Back come the Falcons. Moffitt. They swing it in the corner, going baseline, losing the basketball. Wild save by Seattle Pacific. Somehow they find Moffitt top of the key. His runner in the lane is good. It's 22-16 Falcons. .6:31 to play, first half. Just a 6-point lead for the Falcons. We'll be back here in Bellingham after this on Vikings TV. Back here in Bellingham, Washington, inside Carver Gym on the famous WECU Court, alongside the more famouser, is that a word?
Yeah, I think so.
Ben Bagley.
If you're using it to describe me, then yes, it's of course a word.
Of course it is. I'm Sean Wally. Thank you for tuning in on Vikings TV here on YouTube. What a move in the lane. Bucket good. Ken West, count it for the Cougars.
Yeah, really a pretty little play there by Ken West. He had the nice little gather step. Got himself down into the lane and then shot the floater. Still drew the foul. He will head to the line.
Free throw good. 3-point play. Converted for the Cougars. It's 22-19. Falcons in the lead.
Bringing up the floor is Devontae Moffitt. He leads all scorers right now with 12.
Six minutes to play in half number 1. Falcons by 3, looking to add to it. A 3 out of the corner, off the back of the iron. Offensive rebounds. Moffitt with it. The bounce pass. Stepping out of bounds is Seattle Pacific. That'll turn it back over to the Cougars.
That's now 5 turnovers for the Falcons. Cougars right now have 9. Seattle Pacific has scored quite a bit off those turnovers, making a lot of fast breaks. The Cougars want to clean up their basketball right now.
Foul called away from the basketball on Seattle Pacific. Foul on Jacob Medjo. His first.
That foul count has evened out quite a bit. Azusa Pacific now with 7, Seattle Pacific with 5. Remember, at one point, The Cougars had 6 team fouls and the Falcons had 0.
Cougars can tie it with a 3 or a 3-point play. Instead, taking it to the rack for the right-hand flush is the bad Ken West.
Well done by Ken West. He's now responsible for the last 5 Cougar points. Throwing it down with authority that time.
SPU looking to answer with a 3. The miss from the top of the key. Medjo can't get it to fall. Back come the Cougars. They can take the lead, and they will. Nice runner with the right hand. Bucket good by Mickelary Robertson. It's 23-22.
First lead for the Cougars now in over 10 minutes of play.
Can the Falcons answer? Their head coach, Grant Leap, watching intently. In the lane, off the window, hanging and get it to go is Moffitt. 24-23 SPU.
Great double clutch there by Devontae Moffitt, getting in, getting crafty around the defender, giving them the lead right back.
Can the Cougars answer? 4:15 to play in half number 1. Cougars save it inbounds. 3-ball won't go, but there for the tip, the putback. Nate Kleppe, it's 25-24 Cougars.
He came flying in there to give the Cougars the lead back. Seattle Pacific has to be more aggressive boxing out on those defensive rebounds.
Moffitt kicks it outside, the 3 on the way. Seattle Pacific having trouble getting shots to fall as we get down to the end of half number 1, 3:48 left. Cougars up by 1. Cougars 25, Falcons 24, 3:48 left to play in the first half. Back after this on Vikings TV. Back after the timeout here in Bellingham, Washington. Sean Wally alongside Ben Bagley and our entire Vikings TV crew. Thanks so much for tuning in here on this Friday early evening. After the timeout, we've got Shaw Anderson of SPU to the free throw line as the officials are trying to figure something out. I think it's a substitution issue.
Well, I see 5 players in white and 5 players in black on the floor, so we should be good. Shaw Anderson is a perfect 6 of 6 from the line this season. Azusa Pacific right now with the lead. They've only led for 2 minutes in this first half, but they hold on to it right now. Little broadcaster's jinx on that one, I suppose. He's now 6 of 7 on the year from the charity stripe.
You do have that power, Ben Bagley.
I'm pretty good at it, too. I will admit. I get a lot of those jinxes.
I mean,
I don't know if it's something I should be proud of or not, but I get quite a few.
You did once have your own parking spot here on campus.
That is true. I do hold a lot of power on this broadcast.
Foul on the Falcons.
The Cougars charging back to claim this lead. They've made 4 of their last 5 buckets. Their shooting percentage in the quarter has skyrocketed from 38% up to 48%. There's been 4 lead changes, 2 ties, with 3:30 left here in the first half.
Cougars by 1 with the basketball, looking to add to the lead. Robertson, the floater from 15, short. Rebound to Moffitt and the Falcons. Moffitt, zip pass all the way across court. The 3 is down and in from Bijan Sidhu. 27-25, Falcons back in front inside 3 minutes to play first half.
Second 3 from Sidhu. He has 6 points, and what a find by Devontae Moffitt. His first assist, but man, it was a cross-court laser to find the open three-point shooter.
We need some laser sound effects.
Yeah, if we could add sound effects to the broadcast, that would change everything.
4 to shoot for the Cougars on the baseline, spinning in the lane. Foul called, bailing out the Cougars. Falcons commit the foul.
Yeah, bailing out is right. The Cougars had no chance of scoring the basketball there on that possession. The foul was actually when the ball was kind of bouncing between players. The shot clock was about to go off, but just a little too much contact by the Seattle Pacific defender. Cougars going to head to a line with the chance to tie it up. We are in the bonus. Azusa Pacific has committed 8 team fouls. Falcons have committed 7, but he misses the one-on-one. That was Nate Kleppe at the line. Now
Falcons
0 for 1 from the charity stripe, excuse me.
Sorry, Ben. Falcons by 2. In the lane, foul called, bucket good, count it. Mehdi El Mardi converts. Looking for a 3-point play as he heads to the free throw line. Sharif Khan returns for SPU. Back in the game for Azusa Pacific is Dallin Weichel. I believe that's his first appearance. Terrence Beckvar returning for Azusa Pacific as well.
Seattle Pacific is 4 of 5 from the line here in this first half. Cougars are 1 of 2.
Free throws tough to come by here in this first half for both teams. 4-point lead for SPU. Cougars trying to come back. Grant Leap wanted to travel and finally gets it. A late call. Traveling called on Alan McBride.
I was going to say a really nice job waiting and pump faking there by Alan McBride. He waited for the defenders to fly right past him, but his feet shuffled, an easy travel call.
Inside 2 minutes, half number 1. First of 2 games tonight, the double dip here in Bellingham. Sean Wally alongside Ben Bagley. The Falcons by 4 with the basketball, 5 to shoot. Into the lane, the jumper rattles out. Offensive rebound for SPU. Paulson to Moffitt. Moffitt left-hand dribble, strong in the lane, shot rejected, and a foul called.
Man, that was a close foul. I believe it is going to be on, who's it going to be on? Foul is to Dylan Weichel. And man, he got up and he did block that shot late in the shot clock. Devontae Moffitt's going to go to the line. Just got a little bit of skin-to-skin contact, but that was a pretty good defensive play from my eye. These referees are certainly quick to the whistle here in the first half. We've seen 17 total fouls, not even through the first 20 minutes of play. Always tough to be the first 2 teams to play at a kind of invitational, see what the refs are going to be like early on in the season, see if they're going to let you get away with what they won't. Devontae Moffitt knocks down both free throws. It's a 6-point lead now for Seattle Pacific, tying their biggest lead of the game.
Cougars, top of the key. McBride. Cougars, 7 to shoot. Into the lane, the nice dish right under the basket. Bucket is good by Nate Kleppe, 31-27 inside a minute.
Excellent assist there by number 5, Terrence Beckvar. getting in down low and finding the big man. It's going to be a 4-point lead as we'll take a quick break. Falcons on a 7-2 run.
Back here in Bellingham, Washington, Sean Wally alongside Ben Bagley. Final 50 seconds of half number one. Seattle Pacific out of the timeout with the basketball. They lead 31-27, and a foul is called on the Cougars.
The foul is going to be on Dylan Wakel, his second in the last 2 defensive possessions. He's going to send Shaw Anderson to the line. 0 for 1 in the game, 6 for 7 on the year. Looking to extend the Falcons' 7-2 run, make that an 8-2 run.
Anderson, the 6'6" sophomore out of Kelso, Washington.
I know some people from the good city of Kelso.
I've got family down there. Second free throw rattles off the back iron and in. 33-27 Falcons. Cougars, 15 seconds to shoot. About a 12-second differential game in shot clock. No foul called, ball out of bounds to SPU. And Terrence Beckvar can't believe there was no call. Shot clock is off. Final 20 seconds of half number one. SPU by 6, looking to add to it, heading into halftime.
They'll take the final shot here, currently on a 9-2 run as well. They can take their biggest lead of the game into the half if they score here.
Moffitt, double teamed. Tries to go outside, it's tapped away and out of bounds. Kleppe with the nice defensive play. It'll be Falcon basketball, but there's only 0.7 seconds left.
Yeah, great job by Kleppe. They're likely negated any basket on this possession.
Falcons inbound, throw it to the rim, looking for the catch, the alley-oop. Moffitt gets it to fall. He hits the deck at WECU Court, and that is how half number one will end of the Chuck Randall Classic. Falcons 35, Azusa Pacific 27. Halftime in Bellingham. Come on back for second half action after this on Vikings TV. Back here in Bellingham, Washington, Sean Wally alongside Ben Bagley as we get set for second half action between Seattle Pacific and Azusa Pacific after 20 minutes. Seattle Pacific 35, Azusa Pacific 27.
Late in that second period, the Cougars of Azusa Pacific actually had a 25-24 lead. But in the last 4 minutes of that first half, Seattle Pacific went on an 11-2 run. They made 3 of their last 4 shots, including a very impressive layup by Devontae Moffitt as time expired with .07 left on the clock. Looking at some team stats here, Azusa Pacific is shooting 48% from the field, just 22% from 3. That's 2 of 9. For Seattle Pacific, they're shooting 41% from the field, 27% from 3. That's 3 of 11 from deep. The Falcons really just caught fire and went on a run there at the end. Got a couple fast break points, couple stops. And Azusa Pacific right now trails by 8, their largest deficit of the game. Looking at some individual scorers as well. Devontae Moffitt on the Falcons has 18. He leads all scorers. And for Azusa Pacific, West and McBride each with 7.
Head coach for SPU, Grant Leap, coming out of halftime. His message to the team pretty simple. Rebounds.
Rebounds, absolutely. Azusa Pacific right now leads with 17, Seattle Pacific with 14. We've seen the Cougars, though, get a number of easy offensive rebounds as well. The Falcons need to box out a little bit better on defense.
Falcons begin with the basketball. They are up 35-27. Outside to the leading scorer, Moffitt. His pass almost intercepted, out of bounds. Last touch by the Cougars.
Nearly a turnover for the Falcons. They had just 5 in the first half. Azusa Pacific had 11. Another story of that first half was fouls and free throws. Azusa Pacific had 11 personal fouls that led to 10 free throw attempts, 8 made by the Falcons in the first half.
Moffitt in the corner finds Anderson for 3. It rims out. Cougars back the other way. They trail by 8. Robertson from the top. Foul called away from the basketball. Offensive foul on Azusa Pacific.
They're going to get French there for the offensive foul. I believe he was trying to get position down in the low post. Just kind of ripped through the defender a little bit too hard. And you mentioned these referees have definitely been quick to the whistle. Any kind of excessive contact, they're going to call that right away.
Head coach Grant Leap for the Falcons calling out the offensive set. Moffitt running it. Goes down low, finds his teammate who lays it up and in high off the glass. That is none other than Kelton Samore, 37-27, a 10-point Falcon lead.
Acrobatic finish there by Samore, 10-point lead, the largest of the game.
Robertson outside for the Cougars. Finds West, who gets the bucket to fall, 37-29. Falcons in the lead.
That bucket snapped a 6-0 Falcons run. Still early on in this second half.
Pass intercepted by the Cougars. Back the other way they go. Into the lane, up strong with the left hand. What a finish by Ken West again. 37-31 Falcons. West now has 11 for the Cougars. Cavill going baseline up strong to the rack. Can't get it to go. Gets his own rebound. Outside, Falcons swing it around the 3, too flat. Another offensive rebound for SPU. Moffitt resets, top of the key. 11 to shoot for Seattle Pacific. Step back jumper, high arcing, back iron, won't go. Defensive rebound, by French. Robertson needs help. Finds our returner. Left-hander won't go. Falls off the front of the iron. Back comes Cavill. The jumper from 5 on the baseline is good by Shaw Anderson. 39-31 Falcons.
Both teams right now definitely avoiding the 3-ball, taking all their shots inside. Both teams are 1 for their last 7 from deep. We've seen that translate into a lot of drives and a lot of attacks right near the bucket.
Robertson trying to do it all. His left-hander off window won't go. Ball out of bounds. Last touch by SPU. Returning for Azusa Pacific, Alan McBride. McBride was a bright spot in the first half.
And McBride played very well in that first half. He had 7 points, 3 of 3 from the floor, and a 3-ball as well. Looking to get him a little bit more involved if he can keep that efficient shooting touch.
Robertson looking for McBride. It's intercepted. SPU across half court. Cavill going baseline to the rack and hammers it down. A 10-point Falcon lead.
There is Henry Cavill, the leader on this team. He's a graduate student. He's been here for, I believe, 5 years now. One of the leaders offensively and defensively, putting it down on his head. 10-point lead, 41-31.
16-15 left in game number 1 of the Chuck Randall Classic. A 3 by the Cougars won't go. Foul on the floor on Seattle Pacific. Foul on Zach Paulson. That is his first.
Both teams now with 1 team foul early in this second half.
Cougars in the lane. Nice spin, nowhere to go with it. They kick it outside to Robertson. 5 to shoot. 3 to shoot for the Cougars. Left-hander off window falls. Alan McBride, 41-33 Falcons.
Well done by McBride once again. 9 points, 4 of 4 from the floor. Keeping his perfect shooting night alive so far.
Cavill, a good-looking 3. Twine time for SPU.
Yeah, here comes Henry Cavill, the big dunk and a big 3. He now has 7 points. That's his first 3 of the game.
11-point Falcon lead. Robertson outside, a 3 of their own, rattles around and falls. The triple good for Alan McBride. He has 12 on the night.
That's his second 3, and he now leads the Cougars in scoring.
5 minutes gone by in half number 2. SPU hosting Azusa Pacific.
And a very late whistle there. They're going to get a defensive foul. Looks like a reach. That was on Alan McBride. We're going to get a quick timeout here on the floor. We'll be right back in just about a minute. 44-33. Falcons on top. 14:55 to play here in the second half.
Back here in Bellingham, Washington, Sean Wally alongside Ben Bagley and our entire Vikings TV crew. Game number 1 of the Chuck Randall Classic. 4 teams, 2 games on this Friday, 2 games tomorrow night. Game number 1, SPU in the lead with the basketball. Quote, hosting End quote. Azusa Pacific. Azusa Pacific with the ball going baseline. And we have an offensive foul called on the Cougars.
Bumped up so fast, I missed who drew the charge. I believe that was number 14 for Seattle Pacific. Looks like Mehdi El Mardi. Nice job stepping in, sacrificing the body. It's one of those things that coaches love when we can slide in there and draw a charge. My coach, when I used to play basketball, actually would reward us with lollipops. I don't know why, but he just called charges lollipops. Every time he drew a charge, you got a dum-dum on the bench.
I won't go there. That was an easy alley-oop. I won't do it, Ben Bagley. I will save you the heartache. 10-point lead for SPU. Behind the back pass, too much. Seattle Pacific the other way. Layup by Cavill off window. Bucket good, 48-36 Falcons.
I wasn't much of a shooter, Sean, so I got a lot of dum-dums. I was quite the dum-dum of the team.
Thanks for the laugh. Oh, goodness, I should, but I won't. 12-point lead for the Falcons. Cougars need to answer. Nice drive going baseline. Robertson finds a wide open teammate for three. Gray can't get it to fall. Seattle Pacific the rebounds. Harry Cavill across half court. Kahn finds Cavill. Cavill has it poked away, and a foul is called on the Cougars.
Foul called on the Cougars, but getting a little ticky-tack. Already 4 team fouls on the Cougars here in this second half. They had 10 in the first half. Not very egregious fouls at all. Just touching, just getting a little bit too much contact. We've mentioned all game, though, these referees are all over it.
13-15 to play. Seattle Pacific by 12 with the basketball. Kahn off the screen. In the corner, wide open for three in front of his own bench. The miss by Anderson, but a foul called on the rebound attempt on the Cougars.
The foul's going to go on Weichel as he subs out of the game now. His 3rd personal foul. The only other, that is his 4th personal foul, so definitely in foul trouble. The only other player with more than 3 is Gray.
Kahn with a strong move in the paint. It's 50-36. SPU slowly running away with this one. 12-52 and counting.
Seattle Pacific right now on a 6-0 run in the last 2 minutes and change.
Foul called as Ari Turner was knocked to the hardwood here at WECU Court. Second on Sharif Khan. Harry Cavill checks out for the Falcons. 14-point Falcon lead. Gray. Gray gets it back. Going baseline, ball loose, bodies on the floor. Cougars have it in the corner. Trapped outside. They go back up top, swing it to the opposite corner. One on the shot clock, off window and in. Official calling a shot clock violation. The Cougars don't agree. Will the officials even take a look at it, Ben?
No motion to video replay right now. Do not believe there will be any kind of review.
You can see head coach Peter Bond on your screen there at the top speaking to an official, not getting any kind of review.
It was mighty close play. It was, the shot was made, the fraction late.
SPU, great ball movement, and getting it to go off the window is El Mardi. It's 52-36 Falcons, 12:07 to play, second half. Timeout on the floor. We'll be back after this on Vikings TV. Back inside Carver Gym on the campus of Western Washington University. Sean Wally alongside Ben Bagley. 12 minutes left to play. Game number 1 of the Chuck Randall Classic. Azusa Pacific visiting Seattle Pacific. 52-36, all SPU in the second half.
SPU definitely running away with it right now. An 8-0 run in the last 3.5 minutes. Harry Cavill is 3 of his last 4. Devontae Moffitt is 4 of his last 5. Right now in the second half, the Falcons are shooting 8 of 14. That's 57% from the floor. And it's really just the fouls that are killing Azusa Pacific right now. 5 here in this second half. As it looks like we are going to get another stoppage on the court. One of those quick basketball timeouts. We're going to take a quick media timeout. Thanks for joining us briefly, and we'll be right back in a minute.
Back in Bellingham, Washington, Sean Wally alongside Ben Bagley. Thank you for the nearly 100 people watching Vikings TV here on YouTube. You would think a lot of those would be in Azusa, California, but you never know. Could be a lot of SPU faithful watching as well.
There are some diehard Azusa fans up here as well. I'm hearing some cheers for the Cougars.
Cougars in the lane, nice move. The ball will not fall through the rim. Bodies on WECU Court, foul called on Azusa Pacific. It'll be SPU basketball, 11:29 left.
And that last miss by the Cougars, that was a really good take by Hayden Gray. Made a nice move in the lane, got up strong. That ball just not being friendly to the Cougars right now, just rimming out. Cougars are scoreless now in the last 4 minutes of action.
Loose ball rolled right to SPU head coach Grant Leap. Of course, great basketball roots. Grant Leap played at Washington back in the day. Moffitt to the line to shoot 1 and 1. Interesting of note, Moffitt had 18 at half. Doesn't have a point here in the second half, yet SPU has extended their lead. Moffitt still no points in half number 2. 52-36 Falcons. Back come the Cougars. They need points in a hurry. Foul in the lane. Justin Hemsley on the drive. He's fouled. Zach Paulson hit with the foul.
Quick whistles continuing in this second half. Already 11 total fouls between these two teams. Just under 9 minutes into the second half. Two Cougars actually have four personal fouls. That's Wakel and Hemsley.
McBride loses the handle. He's double teamed. He picks it up, finds Robertson for 3. Off iron, rebound to Harry Cavill and the Falcons. Falcon faithful cheering behind us. Moffitt Strong drive, somehow tries to dish to Jacob Medjo. It's out of bounds. Last touch by the Cougars.
Neither team right now having their way from three-point land. In the game, Azusa Pacific is 3 of 13 from deep. Seattle Pacific is 4 of 16.
Robertson racing after the steal into the lane. He is bumped and a late whistle. Shot won't go, but he will head to the free throw line for 2 shots.
I noticed Robertson there, as he was charging down the lane, right when he got into the basket, he actually veered off of his path a little bit, bumped into the fender, and then went up, missed the shot, but drew the foul. But the interesting play there, in the NBA this year, we've actually seen a rule change that if you deviate from your path in order to make contact with a defender, that is no longer ruled a foul. That's what we did on that last one. That's still the rule here in NCAA, is that you can veer off your path into the defender. Maybe a little bit of ball don't lie for the Falcons as he misses the first free throw.
Second shot rattles home, 52-37. Seattle Pacific with the ball and the lead. Moffitt hit with an offensive foul as he knocks Robertson to the deck.
These whistles are really just coming fast and furious. One more foul, and the Cougars will now be in the bonus. So both teams are going to be in the bonus before we've even hit the halfway point of the second half.
Robertson to inbounds. Cougars Gray with it. West has it.
Cougars are 1 of their last 5 from the floor.
Cougars turn it over. Step on the baseline. The Falcon basketball, 10:24 to play in this one.
Bit of a lull in the game. Seattle Pacific is on an 8-1 run, but they haven't scored in the last 2 minutes.
Seattle Pacific takes a timeout. Just a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here. Ben, Falcons up 52-37. It's been a good second half for Seattle Pacific.
Yeah, very strong second half. They're shooting 8 of 14 from the floor. That is 57%. The rebound battle has actually been pretty even. Same with three-point land. Right now for the Falcons, just marginally better seemingly everywhere. They're getting 1 extra rebound, 1 more foul call, 1 more three-pointer made. And over the course of the whole game, it's snowballed into now a 15-point lead with just about 10 minutes to play in the second half.
Out of the timeout, Cavill to inbound for Seattle Pacific. He finds Sadu into the corner. It's Kahn. Outside, Cavill with it. Cavill under the basket, off window, lays it up and in.
That's been the area the Falcons have been way ahead of the Cougars here in this second half. Points in the paint, that's 16 now for the Falcons, just 6 for the Cougars in this half.
Foul called away from the basketball. That'll be on SPU's Sharif Khan.
That's now 4 on Khan, as looks like he might get checked out of the game here.
Khan checks out for the Falcons.
At the line right now is Alan McBride. He's 3 of 4 from the line on the year. Knocks down the first one of the 1-and-1. McBride now 13 points, 5 of 5 from the floor, 2 of 2 from deep, and 1 of 1 from the line.
(54-39) Falcons, 9:40 left in game number 1 of the Chuck Randall Classic. Game 2 tips at 7:30. with the host school, Western Washington, playing at 7:30, hosting the Concordia Eagles. Foul called on the Cougars. Alan McBride hit with the foul.
That's now 19 team fouls in the game for Azusa Pacific. It'll be a shooting foul, so they'll take 2 shots. The Cougars here in this second half especially have switched to a 2-3 zone defensively. You saw them running a half-court trap, trying to force some turnovers, get out running in transition, get back into this game. But it's just the fouls. Seattle Pacific keeps heading to the line and keeps knocking them down.
Kelton Samore hits the second, the 6'9" sophomore out of Portland, Oregon. 55-39, Falcons 9:15 left. Cougars need points, and that's not how they get them. Gray loses the basketball, out of bounds, Falcon ball.
Gray now with his second turnover. Azusa Pacific has 17 in the game, just 8 for Seattle Pacific.
Nearly stolen, but Cavill has it, gets it back. They swing it around to Siju. Cavill gets it back, goes baseline. McBride waiting for him. Six to shoot for SPU. 3 on the way is short. Defensive rebound, to the Cougars. Robertson gets it back from McBride. Goes back to McBride. It's a 2-man game. Robertson and McBride. McBride in the paint. Ken West has it. Outside jumper won't go. We have a foul, I believe, Ben. I was blocked by head coach Grant Leap of the Falcons.
Nope, no foul called, just straight out of bounds. Azusa Pacific will retain possession. They're 1 of 5 now in the second half from deep.
McBride goes up strong. Layup is good. 55-41 Falcons.
McBride now with 16 points, leading the Cougars. You can see their half-court trap here. They're trying to wait right until they take it over the half-court line so they fall back into their 2-3 zone. Right when they pass the half-court line, they're trying to trap the ball carrier where he can't escape, double-team him, and try to get that ball right back.
Falcons going down on the block. Turnaround jumper won't go. Rebound to the Cougars. Gray across half court. Gray left-hand dribble. Outside 3 in front of his own bench is down by Ken West. 55-44. Cougars with some life.
That was a big one by West, cutting this lead to 11. And I believe there was a dangerous play there, but a timeout by the Seattle Pacific Falcons. We're going to extend this one to a media timeout. We'll be right back here from Bellingham after this. You're watching Vikings TV.
Back here in Bellingham, Washington, Sean Wally alongside Ben Bagley out of the timeout. Falcon basketball, they lead by 11.
Cougars have been making it close. They're on a 7-1 run in the last 2.5 minutes.
Moffitt swings it around. Marty down low.
Ooh, nice.
Little baby hook off glass is good by El Marty. It's 57-44 inside 7 minutes to play.
Yeah, slick footwork in the post there. Really nice bucket by El Marty.
What a spin on the baseline. A wild shot won't go by Ari Turner. Offensive rebound, Cougars. Gray out top. Left-hand dribble in front of his own bench. 6 to shoot. McBride, baseline. 3 to shoot. Don't know that he's aware of it. In the lane, off window shot won't go. Offensive foul called. That'll be on Nate Kleppe of the Cougars.
Offensive foul. The Falcons are in the bonus right now. They will not go to the line. You don't go to a line off of an offensive foul. But 9 team fouls for Azusa Pacific, so the next foul on them will actually send Seattle Pacific to the line in a double bonus situation.
57-44, Cougars with the turnover. Gray has it. Nice spin in the lane. Doesn't get a foul. He falls to WECU Court. Rebound to the Falcons. Cavill ahead to Moffitt. Moffitt right back to Cavill. Cavill, forearm, no call. Down low, the strong move in the lane. Shot will not fall by El Marty. And a foul on the Falcons.
They're going to call that one on El Marty, trying to follow his own miss. Just making a good aggressive play for the ball. Quick whistle once again. And this is going to be a 1-and-1 situation for Azusa Pacific. They've only attempted 6 free throws in the game. They are 4 for 6. The Falcons are 9 for 13 from the line.
Quite the rainbow of a free throw. McBride makes it work. 57-45 the count.
McBride's now up to 17 points in 20 minutes of action.
Short on free throw number 2. Falcons by 12. Moffitt happy to use clock. Falcons in the lane. Outside to Moffitt. 6 to shoot. Moffitt, the laser of the left hand. El Marty can't get the shot to fall. Head coach Grant Leap just walks the other way. A little bit of disgust. 12-point Falcon lead. Cougars looking to chip away at it. A 3 is good by Ken West. He now has 17.
Cut the lead back down to single digits. It's a 9-point lead. Nice shot there by West. The Cougars have been playing good defense. Just need to translate it on the offensive end.
Inside 5 minutes to play. Can the Falcons hang on? They're up 9. Moffitt, right-hand side of the lane, finds El Marty wide open for the layup. 59-48. What a move by Moffitt.
Great pass by Moffitt, picking up his 4th assist of the game. Now 59-48 SPU. We'll see who the Cougars choose to go to on offense. West and McBride lead the team with 17 points. Make that 20 for McBride.
McBride the triple. Cougars trying to mount a comeback. Grant Leap, head coach of the Falcons, turned to his bench and said, why was he so open?
McBride 7 of 7 from the floor, 3 of 3 from deep. See the Falcons breaking the half-court press, still need to deal with this 2-3 zone.
7 to shoot for the Falcons and a turnover. Shaw Anderson steps on the end line.
All right, momentum now shifting to the side of the Cougars. Down to an 8-point lead. Made a couple of threes on their last couple of possessions. McBride's had the hot hand. He's at the high post.
McBride to Robertson. Step back three, short. Cavill the rebounds. 3:45 and counting here in Bellingham, Washington.
That would have been a big one to cut that to a 5-point lead.
Moffitt shot partially rejected by who else? Allen McBride. Back come the Cougars. They need a bucket. They're down 8. Sean Wally with Ben Bagley here on Vikings TV. Game 1 of the Chuck Randall Classic. Azusa Pacific with the basketball. 7 to shoot. Robertson drives the lane. Stops. Nowhere to go. Needs to get rid of it. 2 to shoot. The fadeaway is good.
And that was excellent defense by Moffitt. Robertson just threw it up and got it in.
Inside 3 minutes now here on WECU Court inside Carver Gym. Moffitt taking it to the rack, high off the window it goes. 61-53 Falcons.
The slow step, covering a lot of ground, getting in there. Big bucket, pushing this back to an 8-point lead, 2.5 to play. Look for the Cougars to maybe start focusing on the 3-ball.
Robertson to McBride. McBride out to West. West, left-hand dribble, going strong in the lane. The spin move, switches to the right hand. It's off back iron. Falcons come away with it. Moffitt wants the bucket, won't get it. He is fouled, but on the floor. After the foul, timeout on the floor. 2:08 left to play. Falcons 61, Cougars 53. Back after this from Bellingham on Vikings TV. Back here inside Carver Gym on the campus of Western Washington University. Sean Wally alongside Ben Bagley, our entire Vikings TV crew. Game 1 of the Chuck Randall Classic. Azusa Pacific visiting Seattle Pacific, a battle of the Pacifics. But there's only one true Pacific, the ocean.
There you go. Neither one of these teams a true Pacific. So tomorrow we're going to see Azusa Pacific take on Western Washington. Those two teams actually just played in women's basketball today. Western actually defeated Azusa Pacific, who's ranked number 5 in the country. Western knocked them off 73-57. Emma Duff had 23 points. So tomorrow the men will get to go at it. See if Western can sweep that mini-series or if the Azusa men can kind of go 1-1 with Western this season.
Both Western Washington basketball teams expecting great things in 21-22. 10-point lead for the Falcons. Final minute 50 from Bellingham here in Game 1 of the Chuck Randall Classic. Falcons need a stop. Cougars need buckets, and they don't get one. SPU the rebound. Moffitt has it. Across half court. Double teams. 90 seconds left. Shot rejected, but a foul is called on the Cougars. Foul on Hayden Gray of Azusa Pacific. That is his fourth.
Gonna head to the line, shoot 2 free throws here. Seattle Pacific all but has this wrapped up. Bonus bucket there is going to extend this lead to 11. The largest lead that the Falcons have had in this game is 11. So a made free throw here could make it the largest lead. Falcons likely playing 3 defense here. Cougars needing a couple ones. With just under a minute 30 left in the game. Stoppage on the court. I'm not sure anybody called a timeout there. Not sure there was a foul. Let's just call that an inadvertent whistle, and the Cougars are going to inbounds.
Apparently a question of what the actual time was on the game clock. 126 or 127.
It's 6:40 right now. I don't know what they're talking about.
65-53 SPU in control. Final minute 20. Cougar 3 drops. 65-56, Seattle Pacific by 9. 1:18 remaining. Back for the final minute and change here in Bellingham. After the timeout, Seattle Pacific inbounds. Minute 15 left and a foul called on the Cougars. Falcons up 65-56 in Bellingham, Washington. Sean Wally with Ben Bagley. Game 1 of the Chuck Randall Classic going the way of the Falcons.
Next up in the Chuck Randall Classic, we'll have the Western Washington Vikings taking on the Concordia Eagles. And then tomorrow at 5 p.m., the Concordia Eagles are going to take on the Seattle Pacific Falcons. And at 7:30, we'll have Vikings Cougars, Western Washington, Azusa Pacific. Got a number of sports on campus on Saturday. At noon, we have a volleyball game. At 1 p.m., the Vikings are hosting a second-round game of the Women's College Soccer National Championship. And we got 2 basketball games on Saturday.
Rumor is you'll be the star of the broadcast of volleyball, at least verbally.
I will. I'll be solo on that broadcast. It's going to be the Vikings against Simon Fraser, 2 of the top teams in the West region. Should actually be a pretty good battle. So if you're up early, noon Pacific time, be sure to tune in for some Viking volleyball. The GNAC champion Viking volleyball, I should mention. Pretty soon we're going to see the defending GNAC champion men's basketball.
Free throw rattles home for Alan McBride.
I would be remiss to mention, though, that Seattle Pacific is the GNAC champions in women's soccer. They defeated Western right here on their home turf to take that GNAC championship, so congratulations to the Falcons in that respect.
So great to get back to whatever the new normal is. Get sports back, get fans back.
Yeah.
And if you are thinking of heading to Carver Gym for any basketball this weekend or this season, you must wear a mask in the building. You must show proof of vaccination or a negative recent COVID test.
Taking all the precautions to make sure all the players, all the staff, all the fans, you and me, Sean, making sure everybody is safe. And they've been doing a tremendous job on Western's campus this year. Azusa Pacific still in this ball game. It's 66-58. They have the ball inbounding.
West goes strong baseline. It's short, but he is fouled. And he'll head to the line. 63 seconds left. Ken West looking to cut into the deficit.
It'll be double bonus, so he will be taking 2 free throws. He's 1 of 1 in this game. He has 17 points, good for second on the team, just trailing McBride with 22. Knocks down the first one. Coming into this game, West was a 66% free throw shooter on the year. Cougars now trailing by 7. If he makes his free throw, it becomes a 2-possession ball game.
Just a 6-point lead for the Falcons. Cougars not giving up. Showing good heart, staying in this one till the final buzzer. Full court press applied by the Cougars and a foul by Robertson. Just inside a minute, 59.5 seconds left. Harry Cavill to the line for the Falcons.
I was just going to say, that's going to be the tough thing for the Cougars now coming down the stretch. Seattle Pacific already in the double bonus, so every time they try and foul to stop that clock, that's 2 free throw attempts. Team's shooting 74% in the game right now. Cavill knocks that one down. Cavill is now 3 of 3 from the line with 12 points. Moffitt has 22 for the Falcons, Cavill has 12, and Anderson has 11.
An 8-point lead for Seattle Pacific. Big free throws for Cavill because now it's a 3-possession game, barring miraculous 3-pointer converted with a foul.
You could have 2 4-point plays here.
Right. Robertson in the lane lays it up and in. 6-point lead for Seattle Pacific.
Cougars need to steal bad. I should say Cougars need to steal badly. That's going to be another foul on the floor. That one on Alan McBride. He now has 4 personal fouls. So
Ben, your English professors would be pleased.
yes. I figured my mom's watching, and she taught me English better than that, you know.
True story.
Hi, Mom.
I'm sorry I didn't get to meet your parents when you went to the Kraken game.
I know we missed each other. We just
did.
missed each other. Now we had some of those special exclusive club seats. It was an amazing game. If you haven't, don't follow hockey at all, check out the Seattle Kraken. It is a ton of fun.
You've gone from your own parking spot on campus to special exclusive seats at an NHL hockey game. I don't know if I can be in the building with you.
After this game, who knows where I'm going to be. I'll just keep going up and up.
39 seconds left. Seattle Pacific by 8. They're heading back to the free throw line.
A couple of more free throws. This will be Paulson. Paulson with just 3 points in this game. He's 1 of 5 from the floor, 1 of 4 from 3. He has 3 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 assists. Definitely one of those players who, even if he doesn't show up much in the box score, a hustle player for sure. Potential here to push this back to a 10-point lead.
Paulson converts the second, the 6'4" sophomore out of University Place, Washington. 35 seconds left, 10-point Falcon lead. Robertson in the lane, shot won't go, but a foul is called, and head coach Grant Leap for SPU does not believe the call.
You know, I have a roommate who isn't the biggest sports fan. He always just rolls his eyes at the end of games because there could be 2 minutes left on the clock, and it could take about 40 minutes in real time. We're kind of getting a little bit of that here. Now down to a 9-point lead. Not quite insurmountable yet in all technicalities for the Cougars, but this game very close to being out of reach. But every time down the court, we're getting a foul, we're getting a timeout, we're getting a stoppage, just inching to the finish line here. So, Peter, if you're watching, you can feel free to turn it off.
If, shouldn't be an if. Your roommate on campus or near campus? Absolutely. Fire up Vikings TV. 31 ticks left. whistle. Cougars coach talking to the officials. Foul called on Azusa Pacific's Hayden Gray away from the basketball, sending SPU back to the free throw line, looking to ice this one.
Hayden Gray is just fouled out of the ball game. He finished with 2 points, 1 of 6 from the floor, 0 of 2 from deep, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. Shooting free throws is going to be Devontae Moffitt. Leads all players with 24 points. Very efficient game, 8 of 12 from the field, 8 of 9 from the free throw line. Also with 6 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals. I'll tell you, I'm excited for the Falcons to play the Vikings later on in the season. They aren't going to be playing this weekend, but 2 of the favorites to win the GNAC. 2 very, very talented rosters. Man, the GNAC's gotten a lot better this year as well.
Of course, all these teams in college basketball itching to get at it, get back to some form of normalcy, get back to playing regularly. As Moffitt hits the second, a 10-point Seattle Pacific lead. Final 30 seconds here in Bellingham, game number 1 of the Chuck Randall Classic. Robertson, the stop. The jumper off window, 74-66, and another foul.
Cougars continuing to give themselves a shot. Down to an 8-point lead. But it's going to be Moffitt right back at the line, trying to extend this right back to a double-digit lead.
Moffitt, the 6'2 senior out of Spanaway, Washington. Went to Spanaway Lake High School. Free throw, off back iron.
I didn't notice this, but Moffitt's wearing some pretty slick shoes. The outsides are white, the insides are all black. I thought he was wearing 2 different colored shoes for a second there.
A little bit of style for Moffitt as he hits the second, 27 points on the night. 75-66. Robertson for 3, short. Ball out of bounds, SPU ball, final 11 seconds. Will tick away, barring a foul from the Cougars.
The Cougars are certainly going to battle all the way to the end. Looks like this one's going to run out on us.
Cougars will let the clock run out. Head coach Grant Leap of the Falcons tells his team, no shot, no shot. And the buzzer sounds, all zeros for half number 2. This game is over. Game 1 of the Chuck Randall Classic, Seattle Pacific 75, Azusa Pacific 66.
Seattle Pacific moves to 2-3 now on the young season. Azusa Pacific falls to 0-3. Some quick final stats. First for Seattle Pacific, leading the way was Devontae Moffitt, 27 points, followed by Cavill with 13. Anderson had 11. They shot 46% from the floor and 23% from deep. And for Azusa Pacific, leading the way was Alan McBride with 22 points. West had 19. Robertson added 14. They shot 46% from the floor, 31% from deep, but the difference really was free throws. Seattle Pacific shot 23 of 29 from the line. Azusa Pacific just 11 of 14.
Thanks so much for checking us out here on Vikings TV. Game 1 of the Chuck Randall Classic in the books. Seattle Pacific victorious. Game number 2, we get a short breather. We're back at 7:30 this evening. Western Washington hosting Concordia. Come on back at 7:30. We're back after a short break. We'll see you after this on Vikings TV.